Heyo, it's OmniDog on OmniDog's Vault with Baturdays in the Batcave. And my co-host Taylor Brown. Taylor, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited to talk about a character that is so near and dear to my co-host's heart, Harley Quinn.
This is my dream episode.
Do you have a Harley Quinn t-shirt?
I have several. I should have worn it.
It is pretty cold up in here. It's like 14 degrees up here in Pittsburgh, so I'm guessing it's probably somewhat, a little bit warmer down in Virginia, but still cold.
It was 27 when I went out to get the dog because she was barking constantly. But yeah, it was, and the basement's cooler than the rest of the house, so I had to bundle up. But yeah, I do have Harley Quinn t-shirts.
So I'm not as well versed in Harley Quinn as Jess is. So I'm really excited to hear more about his thoughts on this character and the book that we'll be reviewing and some of the other media from her that we'll be reviewing today.
So let's first tie in how Harley Quinn fits into Baturdays in the Batcave. She was first introduced in Batman the Animated Series, episode what?
Joker's Favor. And so I think that was one of the earlier episodes. It was an episode where I don't think you've gotten to it yet.
I haven't yet.
This regular, everyday Joe Schmo's driving down the street. He's having a really bad day, and someone cuts him off, and he cuts them off in return. Ends up it's the Joker. And so the Joker follows him home, essentially, and says, I won't kill you as long as you do a favor for me at some point. And it's years down the line where this guy totally forgot about it, and the Joker comes back and says, I need that favor now. And Harley Quinn first shows up as the Joker's sidekick in that story. Paul Dini thought it'd be a good idea to have a female sidekick that kind of bounced off the Joker, and she became an international phenomenon after that. And so she is one of the most popular comic book characters of all time, I think, at this point. At least in 2020, she's one of the most popular comic characters right now.
Yeah, and I grew to love her through Palmiotti and Connor's New 52 run. I liked her in the earlier runs. I liked her in all the Paul Dini books and the Carl Kessel book. I liked her, but the Palmiotti Connor run just really injected a sense of goofy fun into her that I just thought was great. And that's when I really fell in love with her New 52 run.
And I think you really tie into just her gleeful joy. And I remember listening to Paul Dini talk about his book Dark Knight, which is all about him being beaten up and him, really experiencing that trauma. And he said he intentionally saved Harley Quinn until the very end of the book because she represents joy and happiness to him.
Oh, good.
And so maybe that's why you are really drawn to her, because she really ties into that theme of joy and happiness in your life.
Yeah, that must be, because I have statues of the Harley Quinn from the Arkham Asylum games, and that's not the Harley Quinn I really fell in love with, the sort of malicious, mallet swinging, malevolent Arkham games one. I think that's how she's portrayed in Injustice, but I haven't read Injustice, so I'm not sure. But I like the goofy Harley, the funny one that just how
you like the Harley that's kind of divorced from the Joker. You like Joker Harley Quinn.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think those malicious years of Harley Quinn are also important for her character, though. I think they're necessary to her journey as a character, because I think she kind of goes from this woman who wants to help people by being a psychiatrist, and even though she has some selfish motivations, she goes to being this infatuated villain who does whatever the Joker tells her to. Then she realizes she wants to be her own woman. I think that's when she starts to become more heroic and more gleeful and joyful and happy. And so I think it's a really important character arc to see her go through those beats.
I think that's an important point.
But you enjoy that beat where she's away from the Joker.
Yeah.
So that's what really speaks to you the most, apparently.
Yeah, when I see her, that's what I see.
And what's your favorite version of Harley Quinn in terms of costume?
The classic one that we have above here, I like that.
That's my favorite too, because we all know that I'm a Batman the Animated Series fanatic, and that's how I know her, and that's what I think of. And if I close my eyes and you say Harley Quinn, that's the first image that will pop into my head. I don't like the over-sexualized Harley Quinn. That's just my personal opinion. I kind of like.
I get that.
I think sometimes That can kind of demean
I get
certain
that as I
characters.
look around my statues and I see they're half dressed. Yeah, I
Well,
understand.
I think there's a difference between hypersexualized and just beautiful statues or beautiful characters. I think we all know the difference to some
Yeah,
degree.
well, I have a slideshow that I'm saving for the end of all my Harley collectibles, and you'll be able to see um, all the different iterations of Harley that I have. And I'm saving it for the end in case people don't want to see it. They can just sign off and not see it. But if you want to see just all the various Harley stuff that I have, I'm going to show it at the end.
Yeah, if you just want to sign off and eat an early morning cheesecake,
Exactly.
go ahead and do that. But we have a really jam-packed show ahead of us. We're talking about Harleen, the new DC Black Label book. We're going to be talking about the Birds of Prey movie, and we're also going to talk about the DC Universe animated show Harley Quinn. So
let me just say that first of all, you're going to be disappointed if you wanted me to hate any of those, because I love all three of those. You people out there, yeah. I mean, first of all, do you want to talk about Harleen first?
Yeah, let's dive into Harleen.
Okay.
Let's go with the really cool cover.
Yeah, the cover is really cool. If I can get it.
I think mine comes off easier than yours does. How it kind of comes off, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a see-through cover. It's only going to be on the first printings, and I'm pretty sure this is how you say his name that wrote it. He won't correct anybody because he thinks it's funny to hear all the different people butcher his name. But I did some research, and I hope this is right because this is how it was supposed to be said. His first name is Stepan, and you're supposed to pronounce his last name Shedge, like Sean Connery is saying it.
Shedge.
Stepan Shedge. I believe he's Eastern European, so it's not a natural name for us Americans to pronounce.
If you give me 100 guesses, I wouldn't have said that.
Me either. Everybody's saying Stepan Sedgwick, and that looks like how it should be pronounced.
The other name that seems to really throw people off in comics is Mikel Janin. I think this is a lot harder than Mikel Janin, though.
Yeah.
People always say Michael Janin.
Right. And yeah, so I'm 99% sure that's how you say his name because I saw it somewhere scrolling through the internet a couple weeks ago.
I trust you.
And lots of people don't believe me. They're like, how can that be the pronunciation? I'm like, he's from a different country. They pronounce things differently. It's not American.
We can very much have the American mindset that everything that we do is correct and the right thing to do.
Right.
Which isn't always correct. And that's why we're very thankful that we have a lot of international viewers watching.
Yeah, good point. And I'm sure my pronunciation will be corrected.
Yeah, whatever. All we can do is try our best.
Yeah.
So Jess, what did you think of this book?
Well, I think so far, it's only February, but this is my book of the year. I feel like this took a much different turn than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be lots of Joker in it, lots of their antics, lots of their escapades, but it does a deep dive into the psyche of Harleen Quinzel, what she has to go through to get her fellowship at Arkham Asylum, and some of the mistakes she's made in the past, her dreams. I mean, like real dreams, the dreams she dreams, and it really delves into her life with the little details and the nitty gritty. And I was surprised at that because her infatuation with Joker doesn't show up till much later in the book. And she doesn't act well. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but she does act upon it, obviously.
If you know Harley's origin story, there's nothing here that's going to exactly surprise you. It's just how well told and how well done it is that was surprising to me.
I agree with that. The book does a deep dive into her personality, what drives her, what motivates her, and how she behaves on a normal day-to-day basis. This is like tons of the book before she starts interviewing Joker. And I thought that was the biggest surprise, and it is so well done, so well written, and it looks like, to me, it seems like Stepan Shedge did his homework, because there's an awful lot of psychoanalytical stuff that goes on in here that I think only somebody that did their research would do. But but it also deals with a lot of real life stuff that she would encounter as a woman trying to make her mark as a psychoanalyst, and shows her to be extremely smart and doing extremely well in her classes. And it really grounds her and gives us a Harleen Quinzel. Obviously that's why the book is called Harleen, because it's not about Harley Quinn. It's really about Harleen.
Yeah, I think it's really obvious that Stepan thought about this book for a long time, and that's very clear in the back matter of this book, which I don't know if you read it.
I did.
He's been thinking of this book since 2017 or 16, I believe. It's been a long time in the making. And there's a lot of times in this book where I would read something and be like, I don't know if that makes sense. And he would clear it up immediately on the next page. Like, oh, that's like kind of a plot hole or an inconsistency. And he would always show me that I was wrong. I feel like he really thought through this book. And I really love Mad Love. I love that episode of Batman animated series and the comic book, but it was so short. You didn't really understand why she made that turn. You just kind of accepted it. In this book, it totally makes sense. Harleen is a woman who is kind of a social outcast, kind of like a psychoanalytical piranha that people don't really, pariah, where people don't really respect her as much as they should. And she kind of feels like she's by herself. She only has one friend, and people don't really seem to like her very much. They don't seem to respect her. Right. And then whenever she encounters the Joker, here's a guy where she thinks that she can help, and he really deeply respects her, or seems to respect her, even though he probably doesn't. And so he kind of gives her that affirmation that she's always wanted. And it really makes sense. And it's a slow burn. The book isn't fast paced, it's not boring. It just isn't quick to get to those points that you might want it to. It's a slow burn, but it's always entertaining, and it's always fascinating. I thought, at least.
You are correct. It is always fascinating, and her sessions with the Joker are believable in the sense that you see how she falls under his spell, and because she is so wanting that validation, and this is the only person that's willing to give it to her, is the Joker.
Right. That's very much true. And her intentions in this book are very altruistic compared to Mad Love. And Mad Love, she just wanted to exploit the villains and kind of write like a big expose book that sold a lot of copies. In this book, she wants to truly help people who struggle with psychopathy and sociopathy. She truly believes that there's something about empathy in the human brain that these people are turning off. And she wants to figure out how they're doing that so they can begin to turn it back on for people in Arkham Asylum to make sure that they're actually rehabilitated. And I really like how they poke fun at how big of a joke the security at Arkham Asylum is. Even when the Joker talks about it, it's like it's a revolving door of villains constantly leaving, because obviously we need to read more stories about Batman. DC needs to make that money. So Arkham Asylum cannot be the most secure place in the world, which they constantly poke fun of in this book, which I enjoyed.
Right, as opposed to Blackgate Prison, which is a prison and is more secure.
Right. I like that distinction between, because you don't really hear about Blackgate a lot in the comics, so it's kind of cool to hear that distinction of why Blackgate is actually better than Arkham Asylum, and why they should actually be transferred there. And I really liked his use of Batman in this book. It was very sparing, and it reminded me a lot of Gotham Central and how he was used in that book by Ruckett and Brubaker. He's more of a background character who shows up every once in a while to raise the stakes and kind of move Harleen's story along. I really love that scene in the beginning where Batman's fighting the Joker and his goons, and he throws a smoke bomb and he's picking them off one by one. I've seen this scene play out so many times in my life, but it always brings me joy to see Batman stealthily take guys out.
Yeah.
And this book has so many gorgeous splash pages and double page spreads. I just love this fight scene between Batman and the Joker where Batman just ravages the Joker. And even though the Joker had just held a gun on Harley, she still feels some kind of empathy and sympathy for him at the same time.
Yeah.
I just thought these action scenes were very well done. And he also does a great job of those small character moments as well. And one of my favorite moments of the book actually has to do with Batman. And it's when Harleen asks Jim Gordon to talk with Batman. So Jim turns on the bat signal and they go to the top of the GCPD. And she bluntly asks Batman, why don't you kill these guys? Why don't you kill them? What's the reason? And Batman says, I don't kill because as hard as it is sometimes, it's still the right choice. I don't kill because I don't want to give up on them and I don't want to give up on myself. That quote just again powerfully reminded me while I will always be in the Batman no killing camp. And I think Jess actually recently joined me. He came over from the dark side to join me in the no kill camp for Batman.
Yeah, I get it, but I am sick of the Joker. I am ready for, and as far as this book goes, obviously the Joker had to be in it, but as far as regular Batman books, there's so much more that they could explore besides the Joker, and I feel like the Joker's being done to death. Jeff Lemire just did a book on him, and I mean, I'd rather see a book about Batman and the Spectre or something. Batman and anybody. Kite Man.
I'm sorry to say that I don't think we're ever going to lose the Joker in
No.
his big overall presence, especially with the Joker movie coming out and being, so popular, winning Oscars and getting so much money. I think we're going to kind of always have the Joker in comics to some degree, a lot.
I think it's probably just 55 years of reading the Joker burnout on my part.
I definitely get what you mean. I mean, I love the Joker and I love to read stories about him, but I want there to be more flavor, more variety. Let's explore some of the other characters a little bit more, which is why I like Tom King's run so much. I know people kind of get mad when we talk about it too much, but I think he explored a lot of other characters besides the Joker. Even though he did have a character arc and some other stories featuring the Joker, that wasn't his major concern. Because that was a major concern of Scott Snyder's run, even though I loved it, and I thought those are some of the best Joker stories ever.
I agree.
I think a lot of writers just want to do a Joker story because they love the Joker so much.
Yeah.
They're drawn to him, and DC obviously knows that's what makes money, so they keep doing that. But this book definitely had a really new and fresh take on the Joker that I really appreciated. His story was very much in service of Harleen's story. He didn't take center stage and take the spotlight off of her, in my opinion.
Right.
I thought he really helped set her story up and move her forward, which I greatly appreciated. I think Harleen was the most interesting character in this book.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I knew that the writer and illustrator could write. I've read him in Sunstone and he drew that too. So I knew he could write that, but I didn't know he had this in him. This to me was, I mean, I thought, how good could it be? And it just blew me away how great it really could be.
I'm always kind of wary whenever it's a writer and artist.
Yeah.
Because there are the rare exceptions to people who can do both in an excellent fashion. But I kind of look at someone like Sean Gordon Murphy. I think he's a much better artist than he is a writer. And that's why I think White Knight isn't as, at least for me, it's not as solid as people say it is. I think the art is fantastic. It's inscrutable. It's so good. But the story has a lot of holes. The dialogue isn't quite there for me. It's kind of too much dialogue. I think usually for a writer and artist, you always see that their strengths are leaning towards one of those things. It's obvious, okay, this guy's a better writer than he is an artist, or he's a better artist than he is a writer. I feel like he's equally good at both in this book.
I agree. I agree. He just is a fantastic writer, a brilliant artist. I can't say enough about this book. I mean, as you can tell with Taylor, what Taylor's saying, what I'm saying, this is as excited about a book as we've been in a long time. This is just, it's so far, it's my book of the year, and I don't know what's going to budget out of #1, but I look forward to whatever bumps it out of #1 because it has to be really, really good to bump this out of #1. At worst case, this stays in my top 5. But
I'll be really surprised if this doesn't make my top 10 by the end of the year. This will definitely at least be in my top 10. I know that. unless this year just is like total amazement, and there's so many other books that come out that are better. But I truly believe by December of this year, this will be one of my top 10 books.
Okay, I'm going to say this will definitely be one of my top 5 books.
Okay, it might end up being my top 5. I'm just trying to be judicious in my praise because you never know what things will come out that really speak to you. So
Yeah,
it could be my top 5. I just know it'll be in my top 10.
we should mention that there are other characters in this book that are interesting, like Harvey Dent and his transformation into Two-Face, and then there's an executioner squad of
that was
cops.
really cool. That was really fascinating to me.
Yeah,
these cops who've had enough, and they want to take out and kill these supervillains. They love Batman, but they don't think he's done enough. They don't think he goes far enough. They totally disagree with me. They think Batman should kill. And so they're gonna take vigilante. They're gonna take his vigilante position and actually kill people.
Yeah,
which was really fascinating. And they kind of actually have Harvey Dent / Two-Face as their figurehead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to spoil how that plays out, but I thought it paid off very well. This book has a lot of characters. It has a lot of subplots, but it never felt crowded. I feel like everyone gets their moment to shine. Every plot is tied off. Every single plot is really paid off in the end, which isn't always the case when you have this many books and characters going at the same. This many plots and characters going at the same time in one book.
Right. There are no loose ends.
Right. And sometimes you can intentionally leave loose ends for a purpose, but I don't think he did that in this book. I think he tied everything off really well.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really liked Harleen's monologue because it kind of shows her remorse for what she's done. It's kind of her looking back and saying, I was so dumb. Why did I do that? I think we all can relate to that to some degree, right? Us looking back at our younger selves and saying, that was so dumb. Why did I do that? Here's why.
There's not a moment that goes by in the day when I don't regret the stupid things I did in my youth.
So I think that was very relatable. Because even though, most of us aren't people who work for a psychopath and murder people, we've all done things in our past that we regret. We've all done stupid things that we don't understand why we did it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to explain it to ourselves and others, but it doesn't always line up. And that's kind of what happens in this book. It's her saying, hey, I'm not proud of this, but here's what happened.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a Harley book about her and the Joker getting up to a lot of their usual shenanigans, this isn't what you're expecting, but it's better than what you're expecting.
It is. Yeah, I recommend this to people who don't even particularly care for Harley. I know there are people out there who are the exact opposite of me. They hate Harley. This is such a great character study.
Make your wife read it.
I recommend it to them.
I know your wife's creeped out by Harley Quinn. Make her read this.
My wife just doesn't like the statues. There can be some completely innocuous statue that I have, and she's like, "Oh God," she skeeves me out. I'm like, "You're talking about my girlfriend Harley Quinn here. You know that?"
I'm trying to get my wife into comics right now. She actually is interested in reading Lock and Key. She has read Saga before. She wants to read Paper Girls, and I might add this to her list. I think she would actually greatly enjoy this because I think it is a very deep character study with a female as the lead, which really appeals to her.
Yeah.
You know what I really want to do, or I really want Stepan to do? I want to see him do more books like this, like Catwoman, Batgirl, Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
More female characters. We need more female characters getting the spotlight like this.
I agree.
In my opinion.
By him.
Yes, that would be. Just imagine a Catwoman book by him like this. That would be phenomenal. Or a Poison Ivy book. Poison Ivy was in this book, but not for that much. So it'd be really fascinating to see him tackle these characters in the DC Black Label line. That's my greatest hope for him. I hope he does more of these books.
Yeah, great. I highlighted. I posted on Instagram that I like the book, and I tagged him. So maybe I'll tag him with that thought.
That'd be really cool.
His Instagram stuff.
I'm not sure what he's up to now, but that'd be really cool.
Yeah. I think the world's his oyster from here with this book. I think he can do whatever he wants.
So he's done Sunstone and Aquaman Underworld. Do you know what that is?
I
don't. Theo would be the person to ask about that.
Yeah, I'm not the best person to ask about Aquaman.
I had never heard of him before. I love his art. His art is fantastic. We don't really talk about his art very much. We kind of got more tied up in his writing. But We showed off some of the art. I think it's very obvious how fantastic it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's extremely appealing.
So this was a 10 out of 10 for me.
Me too.
It was a 5
Easily.
stars on Goodreads.
2 thumbs up, 5 stars, 10 out of 10. Go get it. You absolutely have to read it.
Yes. And now we're going to talk about one of the worst titled movies of all time.
But it got its name changed.
That's true. So, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I mean, come on. Why did they think that was a good idea?
I don't know.
That's just that was crazy to me. To be honest, I totally expected this movie to be a complete waste of time because the ridiculous title rubbed me the wrong way, and that none of the trailers really pulled me in. The second trailer was better, but the first one was horrible.
The first one made me want to give up on Harley Quinn as a character. The first trailer, I don't know who put that together, but it was super botched. But the second trailer, I was like, oh, okay, there's a movie there at least that I can watch, because the first trailer was just a mishmash of junk, and this had much more cohesiveness to it, the second trailer, and it made me want to go see it, because I could have easily not seen it based on the first trailer.
Oh, yeah. And I mainly saw it because you told me your thoughts on it, and we also want to talk about it for the show. And I expected this movie to be like a dumpster fire, like Suicide Squad or Justice League, but I was pleasantly surprised that I actually enjoyed it. It was by no means a perfect movie for me. It had some weak points. It had a lot of flaws for me, but overall, it was a fun 2 hours at the movies, which is mainly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
We all know that I can be overly critical and analytical. That's why Jess has me here, but I had a lot of fun. I kind of turned my brain off for 2 hours and had fun munching on my popcorn. So it was a good time for me. So what'd you think?
Well, I had a blast at it. I went with my movie buddy, who I take to all superhero movies, and she loved it too. And she can be hard to please. She wants to see it again with me, and I'm happy to do it. It's been retitled Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, which is a much simpler title.
Yeah, it should have been called Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. No colon, yeah. Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
That would have sold. I'm not one of those people who says this movie failed the box office because men don't want to see women in a leading action role. I think that's crap. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry if you agree, if you believe that. I think you're totally wrong. I think this movie had a terribly long title that confused the general audience, and the trailers were bad, and the marketing was bad.
I agree. The marketing was bad, and I don't actually equate the fact that it didn't do well at the box office to a bad movie. It just didn't grab people for whatever reason. It didn't. China at this moment is closed off, so that hurt to a certain extent that it didn't have the whole Chinese market. Which
that's the biggest market, even bigger than the United States.
Yeah, and I don't care that I like that it was female produced, female directed, female written, leading females. That's fine. I mean, I've made this argument before, but 50% of the population is female. Nobody says anything when everything's dominated by men. Why is this an issue that this was a movie dominated by women? The action scenes were fantastic. The story, there was a story there that wasn't hard to follow. It was, I thought it was funny. It was fun. The scene where she's got the beanbag bazooka at the police station is, I think, a classic scene. I love that scene.
The police station was by far the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
The action scene where she's in the evidence room. I don't want to spoil anything, but she's in the evidence room fighting different guys. That was by far the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I never felt it slowed down. I felt like it it constantly kept my interest. It was, as I said, it was fun and funny, and I'm not going to look for a deeper meaning into it, because I don't know that there's a deeper meaning other than powerful women can be enjoyed. It was full of kick-ass women with different motives, who banded together, and I also thought that Obi-Wan Kenobi was great in this as the Black Man.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Victor Zsasz were definitely they were good villains. I wish there was more scenes of them showing how menacing they really are. There were several scenes like that, but I wish there'd been a couple more scenes like that. I think sometimes they kind of played him off as like a really. I get why they kind of portray him the way that they did. I think they were definitely trying to communicate something about toxic masculinity
Yeah.
to a certain degree, which I'm fine with that. I just wish they had somewhat not played him as like a buffoon at times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And
I understand the message behind it, but I feel like I wish him and Victor Zsasz that sometimes were a little bit more menacing. And they get to that point at the end when he
yeah.
has the mask on and everything. But I just feel like there's a couple times they kind of played them as buffoons, which I wish they didn't do as much.
Well, I felt like Victor Zsasz was scary, and I kept struggling trying to think. I've seen that actor before, and it was on the Mindy Project, and he was which I loved. I loved the Mindy Project, and he was very funny in that. And I'm like, wow, this guy's got some range. That's really good. Because I found him to be menacing. I thought Black Mask was enough of a what's the word I'm looking for? Contrary character. Like he would just start in on people for the sake of violence, and you never knew where you stood with him.
Yeah, if he was having a bad day and you're in his way, or you happen
Yeah.
to be in front of him, he's going to torture you or do something to you. Like that
Yeah.
one scene where he's cutting off the guy's face
Ugh.
with Victor Zsasz. That one scene, he's totally humiliating that one woman in his club. I don't want to
Right.
spoil it, but it's just like it makes you hate him a lot.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is he was very hateable. I wish there was a couple more moments like that to make you hate him even more.
I hated him plenty.
I guess I think sometimes they kind of played him as like the funny buffoon, and that sometimes made me not hate him as much in a way.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Sometimes whenever they made me laugh at him, it was like, well, I want to see him. I want to hate him a lot more. But they definitely did have those moments where I did hate him, and he did some really reprehensible things that made you disgusted with him, which I really appreciated. Because sometimes these movies can have villain problems where the villains aren't compelling enough. I thought he was a very compelling villain. And a lot of that, I think, is Ewan McGregor's performance.
Yeah. And did you leave the theater craving a bacon, cheese, and egg sandwich?
Yes, I do love egg sandwiches. I actually, if I say so myself, I make really good egg sandwiches at home. So I definitely should make myself one today or something.
That sandwich was the star of the movie. It looked so good, and I loved how fixated she was on it. All she wanted was her sandwich, and all these guys from, that she's got a target on her head now that she's not protected by the Joker. And all these guys come out of the woodwork trying to kill her or capture her, get the bounty. And all she wants to do is eat this sandwich. And she apologizes to the sandwich and stuffs it in her pocket. And the whole movie, I mean, the sandwich keeps coming up. And I just thought that was a great touch.
Yeah, I think Margot Robbie is pitch perfect as Harley Quinn. I can't imagine another actress playing this role better. She was by far the best part of Suicide Squad. And she was actually given a decent script, another chance to show off her skills. And the other standout for me was Black Canary. I thought she was fantastic.
She sings her own songs. That woman has a voice.
Yes, she was really good. I don't really know how to say her name. I think it's Journey Smollett Bell.
I had never heard of her.
So I don't know how to pronounce that, but I've seen her in a couple other TV shows and movies, but she's never had like a big role like this. I thought she really nailed that performance as a relatable yet strong woman who kicks some serious butt.
And has a beautiful voice.
But I want to get into some of my critiques because some of it has to do with the casting. Jess, this is why you have me on the show, right? The analytical, critical thoughts.
Yeah, I underanalyze and just let things wash over me, and you analyze, so go for it.
Jess and I both agree that Rosie Perez was woefully miscast as Renee Montoya.
Well,
she really annoyed me. And I didn't believe that she could really fight alongside these other women. I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I just didn't. They should have hired like this didn't have to be younger, but just someone who was more believable, like a younger or maybe like a 50-something Latina actress who, I don't know, she just really didn't fit that role for me at all. I don't know if maybe she just annoys me as an actress. I liked her in Pineapple Express. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies ever.
It's a great movie.
My whole family loves that movie.
She's a cop in that movie, and she played well in that movie because she was supposed to be an annoying character. But I thought in this movie, she just annoyed me and didn't. I also didn't love the Huntress in this movie to some degree. I thought they tried to play her as a socially awkward woman, and it didn't really pay off well. they tried to make you laugh at her social ineptitude, and a lot of times it just landed flat for me.
Mm.
And that was one of the other critiques for this movie for me. A lot of the humor landed like a lead balloon for me. I laughed maybe twice in the movie, and that's not that much for how much they wanted me to laugh. Now, maybe it's because my theater was basically empty and it was me by myself with a couple other people. Sometimes a movie, you laugh more when there's other people in the theater laughing along with you.
Yeah.
There's parts where I laughed and nobody else laughed at all. I was one of the only people who laughed in the entire movie theater. So I thought the humor didn't really land for me. But for overall, there were a couple points. I liked how they had, like, throughout the movie, different guys show up to, beat up Harley Quinn or kill her, and they show why. They tell you why they're trying to hurt her, and they give their name and the rationale behind it. That was funny. But for the most part, I just didn't think it was that funny. I don't know if you disagree with me.
I had a smile on my face the whole time and thought it was lighthearted and funny. So yeah, I do disagree with you. But humor, like everything else, is extremely subjective. What I find funny, you may not find funny. So I can see you not laughing at it, but I did. So I mean, I had a smile on my face the whole time.
And in a positive way, a positive light, the action in this movie is awesome. That was the best part of the movie for me, aside for those two performances I just mentioned. I think the action was well choreographed. I like the sparing use of CGI. I think a lot of it was very practical, which I love. They had the stunt choreographers from John Wick, which I love the John Wick movies. And those are some of the best choreographed fight scenes you'll ever see. So I was really glad they had those people in this movie. So if you want to come here, if you want to go watch a really hard-hitting action movie, this is the movie for you. There's a lot of great action scenes in this movie. One of the criticism I had, I thought the story didn't need to be told in a non-linear fashion. I don't think that it helped push the movie forward for me. I think I'm fine with a very simple story. It's a very simple story at its core. It's Black Mask trying to get his diamond back. That's essentially what it is. And it's kind of in Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey get in his way for various reasons. That's basically the movie. I think they try to make it overly complex. They try to cover up a simple story by making it overly complex with a non-linear storyline, which I didn't think they needed to do. I just thought it kind of detracted from the story sometimes for me, and it was kind of unnecessary. And I love non-linear stories. Like Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite movies, or Memento. These are non-linear movies, which I think it was essential to the movies that it was like that. I just didn't feel like it was essential to this movie. But it wasn't a deal breaker for me. I think this movie is a solid B for me. It was a solid movie that I enjoyed. I'm not like rushing out to go see it again, but I'm sure I'll Redbox it and watch it with my wife when it comes out.
Well, I am rushing out to see it again, and I am going to buy the steel book of it when it comes out. And I don't buy any movies. I'm not a movie buyer. I am a movie renter. If I even watch any television or movies on television, I liked it. It's an A for me, a solid A. There's only a couple movies that I bought recently. I mean, Batman Begins. I bought the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I bought the Wonder Woman steelbook, and then I will get this steelbook because I want to watch it again and again. Just the look on her face when she's in the police precinct with that beanbag bazooka, I just think it's the best. That look on her face is full of confidence and full of mirth and mayhem, and I'm gonna F shit up, and I'm coming in here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I am all out of bubblegum.
What movie is that again?
I think that's Them.
That's one of the best lines of all time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I am sad that this movie didn't do well financially, because it probably means we're not going to see any sequels to it. But I am excited that we'll see Margot Robbie again in The Suicide Squad by James Gunn next year. And I'm so happy that it's called The Suicide Squad and not Suicide Squad 2.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like a soft reboot of the first movie, I think.
Yeah.
And James Gunn is fantastic. He does the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Right.
I'm really excited about that.
Her production company is the one that did this.
Yeah, she produced it.
Yeah, she's at a young age.
She's my age. She's like 2 months older than I am.
Yeah, she started at 24 with her own production company and is a very powerful woman in Hollywood now from a production standpoint, which is everything. So they may want to keep her happy and make another one of these movies. I hope they do, but I understand if they don't. Um, either way, she is one of those rare movie stars that absolutely controls her own destiny.
She's one of my biggest celebrity crushes for sure.
Oh, I think she's amazing.
She's a beautiful woman and a great actress.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see where her career takes her. I loved her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as Sharon Tate. Even though she wasn't in it a lot, she made an impression for sure.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So let's move on to our last review of the day, which is Harley Quinn, the animated show by DC Universe. And this is very much Archer and Aqua Teen Hunger Force meets the DC Universe. And here's what the show is about in a nutshell. Harley has had enough of the Joker. She's done with him. So she breaks up with him and tries to become a successful supervillain in her own right. And she wants to rub it in his face by becoming a member of the Legion of Doom. And she needs the help of her best friend, Poison Ivy, her plant friend, Frank, Clayface, Dr. Psycho, King Shark, and Poison Ivy's landlord, Sid Borgman. And I loved this show.
Cyborgman.
Cyborgman, sorry. And it succeeds in all the ways I think Birds of Prey let me down to some degree. As I said earlier, in my opinion, Birds of Prey had some humor, story, and casting issues, but this cast stuck the landing on all fronts. The story is fantastic. The humor always landed for me. I loved it. I mean, just listen to some of this cast. Kaylee Cuoco, J.B. Smoove, who I love from Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's my favorite comedy. Jason Alexander, Lake Bell, Alan Tudyk, Tony Hale, and the list goes on and on. This is a fantastic voice cast.
Well, Lake Bell steals it for me as Poison Ivy. Her voice acting is incredible. She is so well cast in this and makes Poison Ivy so funny, just with her sort of undertones, and the way she delivers her lines is just hilarious to me and so well acted. And Kaylee Cuoco is awesome as well. Everybody's awesome in this. It is genuinely hysterical. I laugh out loud all the time at this show. It's definitely R-rated. There's lots of F-bombs in it.
Do not watch this with your kids.
No, this is not something you want to watch with your kids. This is definitely an adult cartoon. It is hilarious, though. I mean, I just kudos to DC for allowing this to happen and for putting forth this version of Harley. I love that the Legion of Doom is a corporation in the middle of Gotham or whatever, or wherever they are.
HR department. You have to sign out your goons, and you have to put budget requests, and you have a credit card. They have to have an expense report. And I just love their introductory video on VHS. They showed every single initiate into the Legion of Doom. They just showed how ridiculous it is, and that was really funny.
Yeah, and the fact that she, wants to prove that she's over Joker, and she leans so heavily on Poison Ivy, and she's always getting into these, completely madcap adventures. Now I haven't seen the last two. I haven't seen 11 and 12, so I've only seen 1 through 10, just because I ran out of time before the show. But I loved the episode with her parents. I thought that was great.
Yeah, and Susie from Curb Your Enthusiasm plays her mom, which I really loved. And that episode had some really shocking moments.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the show. The violence is funny, but it's also shocking at the same time. And there's a lot of surprises and twists throughout this show, which I really appreciated. I didn't expect the story to be as good as it is.
Yeah.
I was kind of going into it just wanting to laugh, which I did, but I think it's much more than that. It's also a deep character study, and you really care about the characters. I care about every single character in this show. I really care about her crew of Clayface, King Shark, Dr. Psycho, Poison Ivy, her plant Frank. I think
Frank is great.
Poison Ivy and Frank were the standouts for me because I love J.B. Smoove, and like you said, Lake Bell did a great job.
And I love Poison Ivy's relationship with Kite Man. Hell yeah.
Tom King must have got a kick out of that because they definitely used his Kite Man in this, in this TV show.
She's so embarrassed that she's to be seen with him, but she
is drawn to him still.
Is drawn to him and still wants to have a relationship with him, but doesn't want to be seen in public with him because his kite's always inflating in the wrong place and everything. I love this show. This and Watchmen are my two favorite shows of recent memory.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think that Harleen and the Harley Quinn TV show are both 10 out of 10s for me. They're both neck and neck for how good and quality they are. And Birds of Prey was a B for me. It was still good. But I think Harleen and Harley Quinn are the two things I was most excited for to talk about on this show because I love them so much. This is a show for DC veterans and newbies. It's packed out with so many characters and Easter eggs. But my wife was watching it with me because I wanted to watch it. She said, yeah, you can put it on. And she actually laughed a lot and she really enjoyed it. I think it's a good show. Try to even get your spouse into it who's not into comic books. I think it's something, as long as they're an adult.
As long as they don't hate Harley like my wife does.
That's true. Maybe it's to help your wife to like Harley, though.
No, that ship has sailed.
I don't know if this would be your wife's humor or not. I don't know your wife, so maybe this would appeal to her.
She'd get the humor and like it if it was anybody other than Harley Quinn.
Okay, that's.
I don't even know how I get to have so many Harley Quinn statues in the house based on how much she hates her.
Are all of your Harley Quinn statues in the basement?
No, a couple are up in the living room, family room.
You think it's like the pale skin or something, like the white skin?
I don't know. It may be her face. Her face, I think, sometimes can be a little over the top with her smile in some of these, but for some reason it just bugs my wife.
She didn't like the Stepford Cuckoos either, right?
She questioned. At first, she said, "Who are these people in kilts on your Instagram?" I said, "Those are schoolgirls." And she's like, "You have schoolgirls on your?"
That'll be your worst guess.
I know, it's getting worse. I'm like, "No, those are the Stepford Cuckoos. They follow Emma Frost. It's an X-Men thing." And she's like, "Whatever. What are you putting on your Instagram anyway?"
That's hilarious.
So, yeah,
schoolgirls.
Yeah, that I had 3 schoolgirls in matching skirts.
That's funny. But anyway, I loved every single minute of this show. I still have one more episode to watch, the last episode. Unfortunately, the only legal way to watch the show is the DC Universe app, but you can do what I did and just get a 7-day free trial and binge it all, then just cancel it before you get charged.
You should watch Swamp Thing and Doom Patrol while you're at it.
That's hard to do in a week, though.
Yeah, that's true.
My focus was this TV show because I wanted to review it. And I heard a lot of great things about it. So I think Harleen and Harley Quinn TV show are definitely the things you need to get on right away, in my opinion.
I agree.
They're both top notch.
100%.
And I'm really excited to watch season 2 whenever it comes out. Because I know they're making it right now.
Yeah.
So it's time for your slideshow, I guess.
Okay, let's see if I can do this right.
You're more technically savvy than you give yourself credit for.
Well, we'll see. Let's see. Share screen. Application window. Whoops. That's not what oh, well, that's good. There's the first thing I have is a plate. Now, wait, where am I? I have thumbnails. Where am I?
Can you just press the right forward key in advance?
Wait, yeah, wait. I haven't tried this before. I have a thing of them open and in previews. Where are they? Okay, let's see.
There you go.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, that's Harley. Sorry? Is
that a bombshell?
No, that is Gotham City Garage.
Oh, okay.
And I'll show all of them here in a sec. This is Harley on Gotham City Garage, where they're all tattooed and writing. Whoops, and there's my Harley Quinn mallet. These are not in the order I meant. I got that for a Christmas present one time. And here's some of the variants I have. Okay, these went in a weird order. These are the variants I have of her. Okay, and you can see these 2 figures.
Yeah, I can see them.
Yeah, this is the problem with Harley. She doesn't have a good action figure. There's really no good action figures.
That new McFarlane figure isn't good either.
No, I was really disappointed in it. And so she doesn't. And then that's Darwin Cook on the right, and I still am not really into it. That one on the left is pretty cool, but it's still not a good Harley Quinn action figure. This is the Christmas Harley Quinn that's up in the family room that Patty allows up in the family room.
Okay.
The bombshell.
You get two of them up there.
Yeah, there's a little Harley Quinn Christmas one, and then over here on the left, and then there's the major the bombshell right there.
Ooh.
There's Mad Love that I have.
I wonder how much that would be worth now.
I don't know. You can look up a 9.6 on eBay right now if you want.
Let me look at it.
This is my favorite one ever. I love Adam Hughes' cover on this. I got it. I doubt I'll ever sell it, but I had it graded anyway. I have a t-shirt. I have a print. Here's the print of it. And I have a t-shirt with it because I love it so much.
It looks like people are selling that Mad Love 9.6 for like $200 to $300.
Oh, okay. Well, way good. Here's an Amanda Connor signed print. I'm getting this. These two things are getting framed here soon. Here's some pops. Some more pops. And there's the Arkham Asylum Harley. That thing is actually kind of pricey now. I got it when it was normal price, but the Arkham Asylum Harley has actually gotten kind of pricey.
Is she in the corner because she's your least favorite version of Harley? She's like smacked up against the wall.
I think she's in the corner of the closet. It's just where she could fit.
Okay. I didn't know if that was a commentary on your...
No, this is the one that started it all. This bombshell is the one that started my collecting statues. And I think this is the face that skeeves Patty out.
That's the first statue you ever got?
Yeah.
Wow. When was that?
Gosh, I feel like it was 2014.
Okay, so 2014 and 2016 Jess, who I love being friends with 2020 Jess, but 2016 Jess, that man knew how to enjoy life. He always had a root beer in hand and an order on his computer ready to go.
That's right.
A package is always on his doorstep.
Yep. Here's another these are little statues on my Harley Quinn shrine.
I like that one a lot. That's probably my favorite one of the ones you showed.
That one there?
I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm attracted to that. Not attracted. I gravitate towards the original Harley costume.
Yeah, well, there's lots of the original Harley costume. This is a really cool one. This is a reproduction of the bombshell cover of her riding the rocket down.
That's cool.
And I really love this one. I thought this was
better than the other bombshell statue.
Sorry?
I think I like that one better than the other bombshell statue of her.
Okay. Cool. I love this one. There's another Harley statue.
That's a nice one too. Is that what kind is that? Is that a
I don't know. Kotobukiya, maybe?
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know how to say that name, so I was hoping you would say it.
This is my Twitter head one where she's blasting off on a jetpack. And it's big. It's very big. It's one of the biggest ones I've got.
That was really cool.
I love this one where she's got a bomb and the pop gun.
That kind of reminds me of her and Jim Lee's Hush. When her and the Joker attacked Batman. That kind of reminds me of that.
Okay.
That big pop gun with her.
Yeah. This is like the only decent.
Look how big that mallet is. Wow.
I know. It's the only decent action figure. It's from the Bombshell action figure line. And this is about the only one I really like.
That's a big mallet. I'm surprised she's not tipping over.
Here is all three of the the Gotham City garage ones, Wonder Woman and Supergirl. They're all featured in Gotham City Garage, which is a comic book that I only think lasted a few issues.
I'm excited to touch all these statues when I get there in May.
Yeah, you won't be doing any of that.
Ooh, I love that black and white of Harley.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's my favorite so far. I'm very partial to the black and white statues.
Yeah, and that's a first production one, so that's gotten kind of pricey. They've reprinted it, or reproduced it rather. Then there's a Arkham one behind her. That's a Bushuju Harley that I don't really know why I have. The colorful one back there on the right.
Your new Batgirl black and white you just bought yesterday will look great with that Harley Quinn.
Okay, that's where I'll put her. Here's some more Harley.
Jess bought a $20 Batgirl from the animated series black and white statue last night.
Yeah, it's only $20. It's a $70 statue or more.
He texted me for my Yes Man services.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I told him, like, you know you're going to buy it. Why even ask me? It was $20 and it looks like a great statue. So that was a good choice.
Yeah, I think this is, wait a sec. Is this the one? Yeah, this is a based on an Adam Hughes drawing, and then there's a bust of her, and then there's a the lingerie one. I think is that for Mad Love, I think?
Yeah, that's whenever she's trying to get the Joker's attention, when he's trying to find a way to kill Batman.
Yeah, and this was from Mondo, and I'm actually really happy with this one. This is the exclusive, and it comes with a bunch of little albums, and she's sitting there listening to her music.
Is that near your albums?
It is, yeah.
I was going to say, that'd be a missed opportunity if that wasn't next to your albums. That's really cool.
It's right on the shelf with my turntable. And there's another Harley. I forget who drew this one, but I like this one. And there's a good one. I think.
Ooh, that's also nice.
Yeah, that's a recent addition, and I'm blanking on who did this one. Maybe Terry Dodson. But yeah, that's a good one. And I was into these little busts for a while. And there's another couple, the Harleys. These are smaller statues. And I think that's it.
That's quite the slideshow, Jess. You have a lot of Harley stuff.
I do. Thank you for those of you who sat through that.
People care a lot about what your collection looks like, so I'm sure everyone sat through it.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Hopefully they brought their cheesecake with them. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our Harley Quinn extravaganza, everyone.
Yeah, this has been fun talking about my favorite character. I absolutely loved this show, and I'm glad it came up as a topic, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. This has been Baturdays in the Batcave with my co-host Taylor Brown. Please like and subscribe to this video, and feel free to leave comments. We always respond to comments. And peace and love, peace and love. Thank you for watching.
Bye, Harleen.
Very much so.